In 1812, an earthquake in Venezuela caused widespread death and devastation. Although our infant nation was burdened by our own second war with the British, our government could not just stand by. The first relief Venezuela's suffering people received was from 5 U.S. ships loaded with provisions. In 1920, 3 years after the Bolshevik Revolution turned Imperial Russia into the Soviet Union, a full-scale famine put 20 million lives at risk. Although we had not yet officially recognized the Soviet regime, our government was moved to mobilize a massive relief program. Hundreds of American volunteers went to the stricken regions to oversee the distribution of grain, clothing, and medical supplies, saving countless millions from starvation and disease. You might say that World War II was the biggest relief program in history, as America and our allies liberated Europe from the crushing control of the fascists. Less than 3 years later, our nation was plunged into the Cold War with the Soviet Union. Although few shots were fired, many suffered. Trying to take control over Berlin, Germany, the Soviets suddenly blockaded all land access to the city, leaving hundreds of thousands of residents with no source of food, fuel, or supplies. In response, the newly formed U.S. Air Force joined with Britain's RAF to make more than 200,000 hazardous flights, delivering 13,000 tons of necessities to the people of Berlin per day. Freedom's spirit could not be cut off. In April 1975, a U.S. jet rescuing 243 Vietnamese orphans from the chaos of war crashed into the jungle. A third of the children died in the accident. The surviving children, many critically injured, awaited rescue. Robert C. McCauley, a paper broker from Connecticut, decided to respond on his own. He chartered a Boeing 747 to save the orphans, mortgaging his house to cover the costs. Within 48 hours, the children were safe in California. From this emergency, AmeriCares was created. In the 35 years since then, AmeriCares has provided $9 billion in emergency medical and humanitarian relief in response to numerous disasters and conflicts. When Haiti was devastated by a catastrophic earthquake 6 months ago, New York and California firefighters volunteered their 9/11 experience to help save as many lives as possible. Digging a 7-year-old boy out of the rubble a week after the quake was all the things they needed. After September 11th, a Los Angeles wife and mother named Carolyn Blaszczak tried to join the military but was rejected. She was told she was too old. But she still felt compelled to support the military somehow. So she began to assemble care packages in her living room, one by one, to ship to soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. Slowly but surely, her program began to grow. Now, 7 years later, Operation Gratitude, with thousands of volunteers and dozens of supporting companies, has shipped more than 600,000 packages worth $125 each to our troops in harm's way. Filled with snacks, essentials, gifts, and messages of support, all privately funded. From the small beginning with big results made by our scouts at Camp Williams, to massive national rescue and support efforts, Americans care about helping others. Thereby, we help ourselves to aspire to a higher purpose. In the service of others, may our energy,